the balls of the feet and the undertips of the toes had been sliced away. Lomatiwa had 9 grandchildren and 1 great-grandchild, and had lived long enough to see many things, but he had never seen this before. He sucked in his breath, exhaled it, and glanced up at the hands. He expected to find them flayed too, and he did. The skin had been sliced from them just as it had been from the feet. Only then did Lomatiwa look at the man's face. He had been young, not a Hopi, a Navajo, at least part Navajo. There was a small, black-rimmed hole above his right eye. Lomatiwa stood looking down at the man, thinking how this would have to be handled. It had to be handled so that it would not interfere with the Niman Kachina. The sun was hot on him here, even though it was still early morning, and the smell of dust was in his nostrils. Dust. Always dust. Reminding him of why nothing must interfere with the ceremonial. For almost a year the blessing of rain had been withdrawn. He had thinned his corn 3 times, and still what little was left was stunted and withering in the endless drought. The springs were drying. There was no grass left for the horses. The Niman Kachina must be properly done. He turned and walked back to where his guardians were waiting. "A dead Tavaso," he said. Literally the word meant head-pounder. It was a term of contempt which Hopis sometimes used for Navajos, and Lomatiwa chose it deliberately to set the tone for what he must do. "What happened to his foot?" the Flute Clan boy asked. "The bottom was cut off his foot." "Put down the spruce," Lomatiwa said. "Sit down. We must talk about this." He wasn't worried about Tuvi. Tuvi was a valuable man in the Antelope Kiva, and a member of the One-Horn Society, a prayerful man. But the Flute Clan boy was still a boy. He said nothing more, though, simply sitting on the path beside his spruce bundle. The questions remained in his eyes. Let him wait, Lomatiwa thought. Let him learn patience. 3 times, Sotuknang has destroyed the world, Lomatiwa began. He destroyed the first world with fire. He destroyed the second world with ice. He destroyed the third world with flood. Each time he destroyed the world because his people failed to do what he told them to do. Lomatiwa kept his eyes on the Flute Clan boy as he talked. The boy was his only worry. The boy had gone to school at Flagstaff, and he had a job with the post office. There was talk that he did not plant his corn patches properly, that he did not properly know his role in the Kachina society. Tuvi could be counted on, but the boy must be taught. Lomatiwa spoke directly to him, and the boy listened as if he had not heard the old story 1,000 times before. Sotuknang destroyed the world because the Hopis forgot to do their duty. They forgot the songs that must be sung, the pahos that must be offered, the ceremonials that must be danced. Each time the world became infected with evil, people quarreled all the time. People became pawakas and practiced witchcraft against one another. The Hopis left the proper road of life, and only a few were left doing their duty in the kivas. And each time, Sotuknang gave the Hopis warning. He held back the rain so his people would know his displeasure. But everybody ignored the rainless seasons. They kept going after money, and quarreling and gossiping and forgetting the way of the road of life. And each time Sotuknang decided that the world had used up its string, and he saved a few of the best Hopis, and then he destroyed all the rest.